sunshine and light. And I think there is a power to truth. Yes, sir.
What would you do about the trade deficit that robbed us of all our good-paid manufacturing jobs and put us into an economic funk?
You know, if you look at what's happening to our economy, we have seen for 6.5 years Washington hammering the living daylights out of jobs. And in particular, hammering the living daylights out of small businesses. My number one priority in office and my number one priority as president will be economic growth and jobs and opportunity.
Trade deficit, trade agreement.
So where the trade deficits are coming from, listen, a lot of people blame the trade deficits on trade agreements, but I'll tell you what's killing us. What's killing us is that American business is finding it harder and harder to be competitive with crushing taxes and crushing regulations that are making it impossible to compete. You want to turn things around? As I said a minute ago, adopt a simple flat tax where we lower the tax rates. We spend $500 billion a year in tax compliance. You want to turn things around? Repeal Obamacare. One of the things I do all the time, especially in Texas, we do small business roundtables, where I sit down and I ask small business owners, tell me what challenges you're facing. I have never done a small business roundtable when at least half of the people there didn't point to Obamacare as the single biggest challenge facing their jobs. And 2/3 of all new jobs come from small businesses. You want to turn it around, you've got to facilitate that. And let me mention something else, which is energy. I've introduced legislation in the Senate called the American Energy Renaissance Act. It is the most comprehensive, it is the broadest energy legislation to remove all of the federal barriers to developing our vast energy resources here. Now, what that would enable us to do is exactly what your question is. Bring manufacturing jobs back to America. Bring heavy manufacturing. Bring the steel industry back to America. But it lets us compete with China. Not based on low-cost labor. Lord knows we don't want to compete with them based on low-cost labor. It lets us compete with them based on abundant, low-cost energy that God has blessed this country with. We can turn our trade deficit around entirely. But the answer, I believe, is not cutting off trade with the rest of the world. I think that hurts America. Like Reagan, I believe when we open up foreign markets, it benefits America. But we've got to have an environment where we're not causing our businesses, our manufacturers, to fight with both arms tied behind their back. We got to unchain them. You know, the Obama administration is worried about corporate inversions. All these companies that are fleeing America and incorporating abroad. You know what? 2 years into my administration, I want a bunch of foreign companies worried about corporate inversions when companies from all over the world want to come to America because it's the best environment on the face of the planet to run a business.